Good evening, friends. Today we will talk about the various types of jobs which is available in the SAP domain. You can say in SAP field as well. There are actually too many varieties of jobs available, but then you need to choose which one job you fit into correctly, right? So let's see what all type of jobs are available in the SAP market, or rather I will say SAP field. We will go into the detail of it. Let's move on to the next slide. So it is the same thing written, types of SAP jobs available in the job market. Okay, so what all things we are going to cover up, let's have a look. So in the content slide we have job roles for SAP end users, job roles for SAP consulting side. We have job roles also for SAP project management side. We have SAP job roles for SAP pre-sales people and also SAP trainers, be it an internal trainer or an external trainer. Your trainer can come directly from the SAP company as well, right? So that also is one of the role. Then what is my personal opinion on SAP jobs, or rather I will say the variety of jobs, and finally we will end with the conclusion on this video. So this is going to be a very useful and very informative video, and this will give you a bird's eye view of the variety of jobs available in the SAP field. And this is not just related only for the SAP FICO side, it is covering the whole of the SAP. It doesn't matter whether it is a technical module, functional module, or techno-functional module, or whatever it is. If it is related to SAP, most of them it is being covered within this particular PPT. Okay, let's move on to the next. So we will talk about the variety of SAP jobs, right? Let's move on to the next slide. So first we will talk about SAP end users job. You can also call it as SAP front end jobs basically. The other name which I will call it as for this particular kind of role is kind of the data entry job for SAP systems. So the nomenclature of these jobs may be different, but the meaning and the definition is more or less same. So now let's see what all different varieties are there within the SAP end users, right? So let's go into the detail of it. So first and foremost is the interns. Interns can be paid also. Sometimes it can be unpaid as well. That means interns means what? The people who hasn't completed their degrees but they have just come to the company or some organization for the internship, some kind of project kind of thing, right? So that's the one way of doing the SAP end user job. Other one could be people who has passed out of the college and they have joined BPO kind of thing where they do mainly see BPO is basically of two varieties, voice based and non voice based. So this will be mostly like non voice based kind of thing, right? So you will do various kinds of processing like AR, AP, GL or something like that. So some or the other kind of data entry work you will be doing with it. Sometimes and rather if you are a fresher, even the company who will hire you as an end user, they will give you the training and the knowledge transfer other sessions, all these things will take place, right? That's one way of one of the variety of the job. Then other thing could be uh, end user who is which is or who is already very well trained, and they also know what kind of business process it is, whether it is GL, AR, AP, assets, whatever it is, right? And they are also good in terms of reporting. That means various kind of reports and other things in their area of operation, they know it very well, and they work on those things accordingly, right? Then we have also something called as super users. That's another role altogether. So these kind of roles are actually having more and more knowledge of the end user roles, and they are usually the first point of contact for the end users. Whenever they face any issue, they directly do not raise an ticket to the support team who is providing the support to them, right? So usually what they do is they reach out to their manager, supervisor, or whoever is the person, right person, and then they ask, sir, this is the issue we are facing, how to go about fixing it. So basically super users are those people who has much more experience compared to the normal end users, right? They know they have a lot of understanding, and if at all they are also not able to fix the issue, in that case then they will raise a ticket. Then there is also something called as key users or power users. So key users and power users are also, you will say, I will say, more or less it is like they are also like super users only. The terminology is different, but meaning is more or less same. Sometimes it can be different set of people. Sometimes the same person would be doing whether super user, key user, or power user. All three can be the same person as well. So that is purely depend upon what kind of role is expected out of the super user or maybe the key or power user, right? Next could be the core team members, or maybe I will say the business core team members or internal IT team members. Many a times even the client who are working on SAP, they also keep some people under in the IT side who take care of lot of things, and also they also help the business users to run the system properly, to see that everything is running smoothly, right? So the people who usually gives some kind of approval, authorizations, and things like that, right? So those kind of people, and they are also the ones who help you to connect with the final business users. Okay, so it can be either variant. Whatever so far I have seen in most of the clients, most of the client will have at least couple of people called as their core team members or internal IT team members. Most of them has. Then you also have something called as business analyst, otherwise also called as BAs. So these people are basically good in terms of your sorry, I missed to one point also to mention is the core team members are very good in terms of their business process and the related knowledges, but sometimes they may be expert into SAP side also, but at times, rather I will say most of the times, they are not equally competent in the SAP side. So, okay, so at any point of time, consultants will have the best knowledge about the SAP system and its functionality. They will have overall level of understanding. Sometimes they also help in terms of solutioning kind of thing also. I'm talking about the business core team member. Okay, and this business analyst role also is something like they will have business process more and the SAP technical knowledge less, but they are the ones who will give you approval for a lot of things, and they are usually on the payroll of the client, not on the vendor side who is providing them the services, right? Then there can be some set of people who are also called as the internal trainers for the new joiners. It can be sometimes external trainers as well. So trainers is not just for internal, it can be for externals as well. So all these things are related to SAP front end jobs, right? Now let's see the what all the features of this end user jobs are would be actually. So advantages and disadvantages we will talk upon. So usually company provides you the training, and remember this is a transaction code based job. So that means you will be given the limited authorization in the system. You will be able to perform certain list of activities, right? It can be posting of certain business transactions, it can be reporting of certain business transactions, and likewise related items, right? You will have the business process knowledge, and remember the work environment will be more or less, it will be like once you are comfortable with your job, more or less it will be kind of routine kind of job only. There will not be too many challenges as such, right? But the minus point of this particular side of job is they usually get the very limited exposure to the SAP system and its functionality, because they don't explore the system beyond a certain point, right? you will also have limited growth opportunities. Why? Because you are basically doing the data entry job. You are not doing anything more than that, right? And the scope of learning also will be limited. Suppose you are dealing with the AR side, so you will have exposure only to the AR side. You will not have much exposure in terms of what is APE is doing, what asset side is doing, what is in GL, what is in controlling. There can be many more such stuffs, right? So the area of exposure will be pretty much limited. So that is the these are the some of the negative points with regard to the SAP end user jobs, right? Now let's move on to the next job roles for the SAP consulting side. So you can say these kind of jobs are also called as SAP back-end jobs. Why I called back-end job means they are never visible on the front side. They always support from the back end. That's why I said SAP back-end jobs is called as consulting job. Here also it can be interns, people who are joining directly in the consulting side, but as an interns, people who hasn't completed their degree and things like that, right? It can be paid, it can be unpaid also, depending on how uh, the relationship between interns and the company is being made initially, right? Then you can be a certified or a non-certified fresher also. So if you are joining as a completely fresher means they have just completed their college degree, and then after completing of the college degree they may have taken a training for SAP, maybe in any module whatever they have chosen, right? And they may be certified and they may not be certified as well. So if they started working in that case, then they are called as all fresher roles. Then after working for 1 or 2 years, then they will be promoted to the next level, also called as the associate level or associate consultant, right? They are also called as the junior consultant. Usually 0 to 2 years is the work experience range, which is called as the for the associate consultant level. Then there will be senior associate consultant. Senior associate consultant means a bare minimum 3 to 4 years of experience this senior associate consultant will have. They will usually have more knowledge and understanding compared to all other previous job profiles, right? Then it is called as a consultant role. Consultant role means at least 4.5 to 5 years of work experience that person will have with regard to the various kind of SAP project work like implementation, support, enhancements, developments, and there are so many different varieties, right? Data migration, system upgrades, and lot of stuff like that, right? Then it is called as a senior consultant. Senior consultant means minimum 6 to 7 years of experience that person will have, and then only it will be called as a senior consultant. Less than 6 years of experience is usually not considered as for the role of senior consultant, right? Anything between 6 to 9, you can say roughly, it will all fall under your senior consultant. But the moment you touch the more than 9 years or 10 years kind of thing, anything between 9 to 11, 12 kind of thing, up to that level people are usually considered as maybe the team lead or the particular module which they are working with, they become the lead for that given module. Plus remember one thing, it is not necessary, this is the general bifurcation I am giving over here to understand what all the different variety of roles it will have. And usually team lead will be the people who will head a bundle of who will head a bunch of people basically, right? Many people will report to him directly, the people particularly working at the junior level, right? Maybe like associate consultants, senior consultants, even senior consultants also, they also all report to the team lead, right? And the responsibility for team lead would be not just to work on the issues and resolving the issues, they will have to deal with lot of things like from the management side also. Apart from that, they will work on the various typical scenarios where the solutioning and other things are required, and along with that they also help the juniors to resolve the issues, right? So all these activities, and they also distribute the work. Whenever some work is coming, maybe any kind of development, enhancement, tickets, tasks, right? Anything is coming, they are the ones who usually distribute the work among the various team members. Now, principal consultant. So principal consultant is again one level up than the team lead position. So many a times a principal consultant maybe are the ones usually they many a times go for the on-site work as well, right? And principal consultants will have at least anything between 12 to 15 years of work experience minimum, right? And if somebody is like solution architect kind of thing, then you can easily understand that person will not have less than 15 years of work experience in the particular SAP given module. Then only somebody will be considered as for the position of SAP solution architect. So these are the people who will have very deep level of understanding of SAP system, its functionality, its features, the different, because in SAP system also there are many varieties, right? Varieties, I mean various versions, right? So solution architect will have deeper level of knowledge, understanding, and they can explain any issue and things to the client in a better way in the in the area of their expertise, right? Okay. So principal consultant, senior consultant, team lead, principal consultant, and solution architect. The bottom three roles are considered as very much senior roles. Sometimes they are also considered as project managers as well, right? If there is a small piece of work, sometimes they will work as a complete, they own the entire piece of work and then they deliver that work along with their team, right? So that is, these are all very senior profiles. Okay, let's move on to the next. So what are the advantages and disadvantages this SAP consulting side will have? The advantages are company provides the training, on the job training also people take. This will apply particularly for the freshers, right? The SAP system functionality exposure, these consultants needs to have more and more, as much as you can have, right? Then business process and system process knowledge. See, business process knowledge also you are supposed to have. Probably not as good as like end users, but definitely you must have a better understanding of business process knowledge, and obviously system, the way system works, that understanding you must have, right? Okay, now let's move to the next part is unlimited growth opportunities. See, if you are into the implementation work or even if you are in the support work, you can learn as much as you can, because the entire system will be in front of you. You can dig out into the system and try to understand how a particular area of the things are connected with each other, how it is working, right? So the unlimited growth opportunities you will have, and you can get promoted to the one level to the next level to the next level based on your experience, exposure, and the kind of work which you can deliver. You will also have the unlimited scope for learning and even earning as well. So that means as long as you keep on learning new things, keep on updating your profile, keep on exploring new stuffs, your earnings also will grow accordingly, right? But then it depends on a lot of other factors also. Only learning probably will not increase your earning, but that learning will definitely help you to deliver the job more efficiently, more quickly, and more efficiently. The global work exposure. See, many a times if you are working for a smaller client, probably you will not have global work exposure, but the moment you get into the team or get into the work in a client where a client is being running into multiple countries, your exposure will automatically become globally in nature by default. Particularly myself, I have worked into many such clients where I have got the global exposure. In one of my projects, I have seen as many as 195 countries were involved worldwide. You can imagine the kind of global exposure that kind of project will have, right? Now, some of the minus points would be requires very high flexibility. Flexibility in terms of too many things. Flexibility in terms of time zone, flexibility in terms of the effort you spend on the or the time you spend on the work, right? And you also need to be in a position to learn a lot of new things in a very short span of time. And for all these things, you need to be very, very flexible. The work environment will be very, very challenging. You will have to deal with a new issue every day, right? So that you can handle and manage only if you are ready enough to face the situation head on. If you are not ready for it, then you will start struggling in it, right? You will always have some tight timelines. I mean, you will not get enough time to understand some issues as per your comfort zone and then deliver the solution. If some suppose P1 issue has come, then you will hardly get anything between 4 hours to 6 hours time to provide the solution for that P1 ticket to the client. If you fail to do that, you will pay the penalty for the same. Your company will have to pay the penalty, and in turn that penalty also will hit your profile somewhere down the line. So timelines will be very much tight. For a business user, timelines does not matter much. For them also it is important, no doubt, but not as challenging as it has for the consultant. Very, very tight at times. Depends on situation to situation and issue to the issue, right? Okay, let's move to the next point now. Job roles for project management side. So usually freshers are not hired for the project management side. So usually these are the people who will have at least few years of any kind of work experience, maybe in the consulting side or something like that, right? So usually they will be all experienced profile. Then project managers. So project manager means they will head a battalion of people, maybe 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, depending on the team size and other things, and they handle a project, something like implementation project or maybe the AMS project or maybe enhancement, development, some new functionalities and likewise, right? Then delivery manager. So delivery manager will be one level up than the project manager usually, and the delivery manager may be handling multiple clients at times at one go. So usually delivery manager means you will not be involved just with one client, they will be involving 2 3 clients or maybe 4 clients at one go, and there will be some project managers working under them who will be taking care of each of those projects individually, right? Then we have senior delivery manager. Senior delivery manager means under them at least couple of delivery managers would be there. They will be like many a times like you can say at least 15 20 clients a senior manager minimum will handle. Then only it will be considered as a senior delivery manager. At least 15 to 20 clients minimum they handle. Then coming to the partners. Partner means they are very, very senior profile. Many a times they report directly to the CIO or CFO or CEO of the company. Okay, and many senior managers report to a single partner. They are very, very highly profilic job profile, and not everybody is fortunate enough to go up to that level. It takes lot of time, effort, energy, dedication, and maybe a bit of luck as well to reach such kind of levels to be called as the partners of the company, whatever company they work for. Right? So in that case, so since these are very senior positions, so many times people are not able to reach to these levels in their lifetime, because to reach that level it is something like dream come true kind of thing, right? So everybody is not fortunate enough to reach to up to that level, and these profiles mainly deal with your SAP people management. I mean to say people management, I'm not talking about a here HR SAP HR things, but here I'm basically talking about you will be handling the teams, you will be managing the teams, you will be delivering the SAP project works via team, right? So you will be heading the teams and you will getting the work done via teams. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. So what all the advantages and disadvantages of this particular SAP project management role would be is they will know how a SAP project runs and how to manage it very well. I mean, They will have a hands-on experience in terms of how to handle the client, how to manage the client, how to do the reporting, how to handle deliver the work, what all parameters are there, how to do the resource management, and likewise so many things will be there in it, right? And they will be very good at it. SAP system functionality exposure to the project managements are usually limited in nature unless somebody has gone through the entire consulting route all the way to become project manager at some point of time. Only those people, and that too only in the module in which they have worked upon, will have understanding of SAP system functionality, right? Many a times I have also seen many people without any prior background of SAP also become project managers. So in those cases, they will hardly have any understanding about the SAP system functionality. Now, good growth opportunities. These kind of peoples over a period of time grow very good into their career, and they get lot of opportunities. Particularly for this role, you should be very good in terms of people management skills. Right? If you are good in people management skills, if you are good in the negotiation skills, presentation skills, client handling skills, and many more such stuffs, you will be a best suited person for the given role. Okay. Now, global team management. Why I call it as a global team management is many a times the whole team will be not sitting at just one location for any kind of SAP project work, be it implementation, be it support, be it anything else, right? So in that case, suppose your team has a 50 members, 50 members, right? 10 people are sitting into India, maybe 10 people are sitting in USA, and another 20 is sitting in UK, right? Another 5 is sitting in suppose in some other countries. So in that case, a project manager is expected to handle entirely globally diversified team as well, right? So these things all would be your advantages. You will have good exposure into those things. What is the disadvantages? Again, you need to be very flexible for a lot of things because handling a client itself is a very big challenge. So for that you need to be very flexible in nature, not just for one item but for the multiple items. Then it also will be a very highly challenging work environment, right? Any escalation comes from the client side, you will be the first person to respond and get the issue sorted out, that too with the shortest possible period of time. So it will not be so easy to manage, it will be a challenging one. And other than that, you also will have to deal with the tight timelines, and if it is your AMS work, then you have to deal with various kind of SLAs, service level agreement to contract, people usually sign, right? So the whatever the parameters or variables are mentioned in the your SLA, so all those things you will have to look after. Apart from that, you also will have to manage the stakeholders, means there are various people with various backgrounds, right, in the company also and in the client side also. So you have to mingle with everybody and ensure that whatever is being promised in the scope of the work, that is being delivered on time with the due quality and with the given timelines. If you fail to do that, you will end up paying the penalty somewhere down the line. That is for sure. I have seen people paying the penalty. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. Now SAP job roles for the SAP pre-sales people. Pre-sales people, you can say they are like salesman for the SAP. That's why I have written SAP salesperson. Right? So what do they do is they do the kind of cold calling, the way people sell insurance, right? They do the cold calling, right? Same way these people also do the cold client calling to the company. They usually do not call for the to a person as such. They always call to the company. Boss, would you like to go for the SAP ERP? We are having so many features, this, that, and blah and blah and blah. So many things they explain, right? So they are basically into the ERP selling to the business, right? They also will have the knowledge of latest features or latest facilities, latest functionalities offered by the SAP system. Currently in S4 HANA is running 2022 version, right? So these people will be very good aware in terms of what all features are offered by the S4 HANA 2022 version. They are extremely good in the presentation and they are also good in the various kind of negotiation skills. They are also supposed to be pretty much good in terms of documentation, and since these people are dealing with the client for initial negotiation for the SAP related work, be it AMS, be it implementation, be it any kind of thing, right? So at times they need to travel as well. So they also need to be flexible in terms of traveling requirement. If they are not into that kind of things, then sometimes they may lose a good business opportunity. So that's why they also need to be pretty much flexible in terms of traveling. Now, job roles for the SAP trainers, be it internal or external. So, what all things or what all qualities are needed for a good trainer? You should be very good in terms of coaching and teaching skills. That means the way you explain certain concepts and the features, functionalities, business process, system things, or whatever it is. You should be good in terms of explaining, right? Then, whatever module you are teaching or explaining, you should have very good subject knowledge into that area. Not just theoretically, if possible, practically as well. If you have practical experience, you will be in a position to give a better example and explain it by giving some beautiful examples which will make your participants understand the concepts better, right? Next, you also should be in a position to handle various kind of queries which will be raised by the participants of the teaching, or maybe the student, if they are learning, they can also shoot out lot of questions, queries. Sometimes the employees of the company where you are giving the training, they can also ask you lot of questions. So you should be in a position to handle their queries efficiently by giving them prompt answer for that, right? Then you also need to give, while teaching, you also need to give lot of good examples, practical examples, easy to understand examples for the participants, and that you have to think and decide based on the discussion what you have with the participants, right? So you have to explain on that accordingly. You also need to know what all the different features or facilities or the functionalities offered by the SAP system. Unless you know it, how you are going to explain it to your students? Other than that, since this is a training kind of thing, you also need to be very good in terms of documentation of those training materials. You will be asked to create some documentation like end user manuals kind of thing, right? Where do you explain step by step process for a particular business process, or maybe business transaction, or maybe generation of a report, or likewise, right? So all these things you should be very good at. Internal and external simply means if somebody is owned by some person is working as an internal trainer, means they will be on the role of their company. If it is an external trainer, that means they will have no direct relationship with the company. They are hired for certain duration to deliver some kind of certain training for a given period of time, and they are paid on the contractual basis, not as a salary basis. I hope I have explained the this SAP trainers roles in a better way. Let's move on to the next. Now, coming to the what is my personal opinion on the SAP jobs. No matter what kind of job you choose, we have already seen, right? SAP end users, SAP consulting roles, SAP project management side, right? We have seen SAP trainers, SAP pre-sales. These majorly five varieties we have seen, right? You need to do a self analysis of yourself, in which role you fit into the best. Whatever role you fit into the best, please try only for that role. Remember that each of these roles are not applicable for every individual who knows what the SAP is all about. One person will be probably the best suited only for single role. One person will not be best suited for multiple roles at one go. It's a very rare combination. People will have something like that, right? And before you choose the role which you want to enter, you have to do an analysis of your own and check whether where you fit into. Apart from that, you also need to discuss with some of the seniors which will explain you and that will also help you to arrive to a decision what role is the best suited for you. Irrespective of the variety of job you choose, you need to have the very deep level of interest in performing the job. Many a times I have also seen people take up the job somehow, they get the job somehow, but they never perform to their level best. They never try to explore new things, they never try to learn new things, and they are very, very lazy kind of people, right? So if somebody is paying you for the time and services which you deliver, which you work for, you need to ensure that you are delivering the works on time, right? That's very, very important. Continuous effort in exploration. What I mean by that is, do not be stagnant in terms of learning and exploring the system. If you learn just one area and do not try to explore the other areas, your learning and earning scope will be always remain limited. It will never become unlimited. I am sorry for my words, but that's how it works. Also, if you are particularly in the consulting role and in the project management role, so these two roles particularly I will say needs a specific kind of mindset which can accept the changes effortlessly. You will ask why we need to have that kind of mindset is, see, if you are a rigid mindset and if you are not flexible enough which can accept the changes very quickly, then delivering the work will become a very difficult task to achieve. In that case, you will only lose the opportunities. So that's why you need to also have a mindset which can accept the changes very, very effortlessly without even being felt by that, right? Apart from that, these things, you also need to be very much flexible in nature. Sometimes you will have to work in different shifts, sometimes you will have to work over the weekends, sometimes you have to stretch your work hours, and many more such sacrifices you will have to give in terms of SAP jobs performance. What you will get, what you will not get in terms of money and other things is different thing, but you have to be very flexible in terms of travel, in terms of learning, in terms of a lot of other parameters, right? So you have to be very, very flexible if you really want to grow the things. You cannot put terms and conditions for everything. If you put it, your growth also will have that much limitation. Now coming to the conclusion. So whatever area of the work you choose, you have to choose it carefully. See that you are the what role you are fitting into the best. That role only you should choose upon, and do not mix all variety of roles into single role. Usually it does not get mixed up like that. Anybody who tries to do everything individually is very, very difficult to manage, particularly if the client is big, it is bound to fail in that case. Right? Whatever do you decide, you need to make yourself accountable. That means you should own the responsibility. Whatever you decide, you will have to own the responsibility. Ensure that you are whatever you are committing, you are delivering it as well, and you are holding yourself accountable for it. Remember, in SAP field, as learning is a lifelong process. It's not one day process. It is not like whenever you want to learn, learn, and whenever you want to leave, you can leave. No, you have to continuously keep on learning as long as you are working within the SAP field. There is no end to it, unfortunately. So you have to do that. Apart from that, continuous improvement. What I meant to say is, many times you will come across lot of situations, lot of issues, lot of incidents where you will see something for the very first time in your life. Okay, so if you get something like that, in those cases also, you have to continuously keep on learning, keep on improving, keep on exploring your profiles, and see what is the best you can do and how this can be done, right? So choose carefully the career whatever you have. Make yourself accountable for whatever decision you make related to the various kind of roles which you choose. Learning is anyway as is a never-ending process as such and continuous improvement. So these are my conclusion with regard to the SAP jobs. So now we have come to the conclusion of it. We have already done with. Now if you have any questions, then follow this particular slide. You can send your queries to it, or you can even put your comments on that, right? Now coming to the end of this particular video, right? Thank you so much for watching this video. Kindly like and subscribe my YouTube channel. I will keep on bringing such kind of useful videos for your understanding how a particular job scenario works and various related topics, right? So all these things will be very beneficial to you, and it will be useful to you. It will make you understand what is expected out of you in a particular given job and things like that, right? So thank you once again. Bye bye. Thank you.